So I've been asked to do a demo. I've got to say, I hate doing things like this, but you know, needs must. So I've decided to do this Bumblebee on knapweed that I've posted on a few social media sites, and it's getting lots of views. So it's obviously quite likeable. The paper I'm using is Langton Rough. I like the rough paper because of all the bumps and divots and texture to the paper. When you put your paint on, that texture comes through. So the paper is £140, 300 GSM. And the paints I am using today are indigo, alizarin crimson, winds of violet, gamboge yellow, there's an orange. I'm using sap green, but I'll also be mixing some of my own greens to go into this area here that's got lots of like bluey yellow shades. So let's get started. So I've mapped out this painting of the knapweed and the bumblebee sitting on the top. The image, or the two images, I've used two separate images, one of the bee and one of the flower, and I've got those from Pixabay. Pixabay is a wonderful website where you can download images and they're totally free, whether you use them for your own enjoyment or whether you want to use them commercially, as I do. So it's well worth a look. That's Pixabay. The brushes I'm using today are a number 5, which is this one. It's got a lovely point on it, and this one, which has been used to death because there's no number left on it, but it's got to be round about an 8, and that's still got a nice point on. You must look after your brushes. So I'm mixing up gamboge yellow, and I'm putting a very light wash in the yellow stripe of this beautiful bumblebee. So I'm just doing it on the left hand side, then I clean my brush, dip it in the clean water and blend it across. Then I go in again with the next stripe, which is just under the wing. So just like that. Clean the brush, dip it in the clean water and blend. A little bit more there. Then I'm going to highlight this, give it a bit of depth with some orange. While this is still wet, I'm going to drop in some orange so that it floods into the yellow. The same on this other one underneath the wing and lower down on the shadowed side of the body. A little bit more there. Okay, clean the brush. Then I've mixed up a black. I don't use true black. I use, in this instance, I've used sepia, indigo and a little bit of red. But at consequent washes, so the next wash I'll put a bit of purple instead of the red, just to give more depth. So I'm going straight in here, hoping that this will flood into, there we go, flooding into the orange. Clean the brush. And blend it in. Clean the brush again, load with more of the mixed black, and again pulling it down. Clean the brush, dip it in the clean water and blend it in. I want to add a little bit behind that wing and a little bit more down here in this area while it's still damp. So I'm now going to add the final black stripe, which is down here. Clean the brush, blend. That's where there's all highlight down there on the far side of his back. Then I'm adding a little bit of cerulean blue, because this part of his body is actually white, so this will just give the impression of a little bit of shadow. Take it up through that black. There we go. Then I'm going to mix a slightly stronger black, as I said before, sepia brown, indigo blue, and a bit of purple in with this one. And I'm just adding to the depth of strength of this colour in the black areas of this bumblebee. A bit behind the wing. Clean the brush, blend, blend, blend. Get up through there a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of petal colour now to that black to put underneath the body where he is sitting on the top of this knapweed. That's it, you can see how it's blending. And I'm going back to that dark, rich black colour. Got a bit of sepia, a bit of indigo, and a bit of purple. And I'm just going to drop a little tiny bit in there so that it shows right underneath the body. And that will flow down onto the top of the knapweed and still show just dragging a bit of that down. Take it down to where the bracts would cut off. Okay, a little bit there, under that tail end of the bumblebee. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the bracts of the knapweed. So I've mixed up a little bit of ultramarine blue and the yellow, and I'm just putting a light, just an impression of where these bracts are. So this side is the darkest side, and then we go across to the more yellow side. So clean the brush and blend it in. Okay, and add a little bit more yellow to that mix that I've done on this side, and take it across the other side where the sunlight is shining on this knapweed. So it would be on the right hand side now of these bracts. Okay, just going to add a little bit of purple on this side just to show the curve of the lower part of this flower, and also in where the bracts join together there would be little pockets of shadow. Just drop those in like that. Just gives it a little bit of 3-dimension. Okay. Right, now I'm going to move on to the knapweed itself, and I've got some alizarin crimson that I'm using the rigger brush. This is the rigger brush, very long hairs in this rigger brush, and I'm just coming straight out from here, which would be pink, straight out. A little bit in there, little bit there, and a few up here. Load the brush again. I'm just going to turn this round because it's easier to paint that way. And a couple at the top, but not so many at the top because they would be most of those would be falling to the other side of the bumblebee and be actually hidden by the bee. Just a few little bits of brighter pink there. And the brush, going back to the number 5 brush now to blend in, taking it all up towards that darker area. Just going to put some more of that dark underneath the bumblebee and let it run down into that crimson. There we go. Right, I'm now going to take the rigger brush again and load up with the Windsor Violet and come out from the centre again of this flower and just add a bit more depth to this flower. I'm going to turn the page again, load the brush, and take it down through this side a little bit, but not so much as that's the light side. Okay, clean the brush. I'm just going to put a little bit of purple under there as well, a bit more contrast from that black of the bumblebee. Okay, clean that brush, and then going back to the number 5, I'm going to mix my black again from the indigo, the sepia brown, and a bit of purple in with that as well, just to give it real richness. And I'm just going to put another wash in here. I feel it needs a little bit more strength on that. bit of the bumblebee. In the brush, just blend it in around there. In the brush, blend again. And that one as well. There, that's looking better. Right, I'm just going to go in now on these legs, the lower part of these legs, I think. To wait for the top part of these legs while that dries underneath. In the meantime, I'm just going to put a hint of yellow across that wing. In the brush, blend it in. Okay. Put a little bit of blue on that eye, just so it's catching the light there. And just drag a little bit across so it blends a bit more. Okay. I'm just going to paint a little bit on the lighter side of this stem and pull it down, and also the light sides of the two little leaves. And I'm going to do the slightly darker green that I've mixed earlier and pull that down through there on the top and on the underneath of that one. Put a little bit on those curves. Okay, so far so good. Just blend that in slightly. We're going to put definition in here with the black pen. But before that, I'm going to mix a little bit of indigo blue with the Windsor violet and just do some quick little, just to show a bit of extra colour in there. And a very little bit on that side, just coming out from where he's sitting. Okay. So now I'm going to go in and add some more texture and depth with watercolour pencils. So on this side here, I just want to add a little bit of green on the edge. So this is, I do believe, olive green. Picked up the wrong pencil. That's the one I'm after, olive green. Just add it round, picking up little bits, like underside. Okay. There's also little bits of blue in this, in the bracts of this knapweed. So I'm just going to pull a little bit in, a bit more blue on this side because it's quite bright. It just adds little hints of I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to the bumblebee. And also a little bit of orange to the bumblebee. Okay. Then I'm going to put little bits of black in here and pull it out over the petals. Bit of black under there, and under there, under that bit. That's where his body is shadowing the top of the flower. So then I'm just going to dip it in the brush in clean water, pull it down. And just drag out some little bits. A little bit of blue on the edge of that there. Okay, a little bit of blue there just to give the impression of his tail. Right. Little bits of black just to give definition to this fuzzy, hairy, fat little body. There we go. And around that eye a little bit. More down here. A little bit in between each of these bracts just to show it up. A little bit down there on the dark side of this flower, underneath the leaf and on top of that one. Load the brush with water again, and we just go over all of this, and it just brings any highlighted bits that I've done with the watercolour pencils to life. Excuse me. Just want to go in there with a bit of black. Just smudging that black pencil that I added to give the shadow underneath his body. So now I'm using this art line drawing brush, ink pen, and it's 0.5 nib, and I'm just doing a few little marks just to give the idea of some of the shapes of these bracts. Little marks here and there. I'm going to bring out some more petals. There's one or two on that side. I'm going to go into this hairy body and just do a little bit of scribbly marks, just to give the impression of hairs. Don't do a solid line, it'll look really strange if you do a solid line. So just do lots of little broken, flicky areas. Darken that bit there, that needs a little bit of and that bit there in between the wing, and just define that wing slightly. I'll put a few little lines in just to show. That's it. Let's move round to the head. And the eye. Some light little squiggles now, just where I've got pencil marks. You can spend ages on this with these ink pens. They're so fine and you can get so much detail. Okay, a little bit more up on this head. Nearly finished. Just going to put a few highlights. What I tend to use is blackboard chalk, and I just add little bits, and it just lifts the painting, I think. If you just take it lightly over, can you see? Can you see where it's going? A few little bits coming out of there. Little bits across there. And then the best bit, the splashy bits. So alizarin crimson, and guide the splashing in the same direction that the flower is growing. So this petal, these petals are coming out this way, so keep turning your painting, not so much at the top, just little bits at the top. I want more at the sides, because that's how this flower seems to grow. A few little bits across there. Put a little bit stronger. I'm going to mix some red with the crimson, just to give it a little bit more depth close up. Just in those bits there, that's it. And the same on this side, just close up. Put it down there. Like so. And I'm going to mix some of the green that I had earlier for the bracts. And I'm just going to splash where the green is on my painting. I don't want it anywhere else. I tend to put splashes where the underneath colours are the same. I feel it works better. A little bit down the stem, just to show the direction. Then I'm just going to put little flicks of yellow at the top by this bumblebee. Little bits down here, because that's where the pollen would be. And just get some little tiny flicky bits in there. And then the final bit, if this is dry enough, I'm just going to go back in and do these legs. Little scribble bits, just to give the impression of where his legs are. And the legs are segments. just build his leg up. Curved lines just show the roundness of his legs. So the last one, and this one is tucked underneath that bract there. There's a bract that came up. Little bits in. Put the roundness on this one. That's him. Just a little, add a little bit of colour to that leg, I think. Very, very subtle on the far side, I think, just so that it still keeps the highlight. And the final bit, I've got the white pen, which is the same size as the black one. This is a Derwent paint pen. Give it a good shake, and then you can just add little white highlights wherever you think it might need it. Like a little bit there, just little bits, a little bit on the stem maybe, a little bit on that leaf and that leaf, little bits on the body, just to show light and shade on the furry bits. And the same on the head. Little white bit. And then I'm just going to put some little dot bits down the legs just to show the highlight. Just bring some bits out here. Where the light's catching it. I just want a little bit more depth on that head. Can you see where you put watercolour over that white pen? It still keeps its strength. A little bit down here as well, maybe. Taking it up through there, and the same on that one there. Clean the brush, just blend that out slightly, and that one, and that one. I'm going to put a little bit of colour, just a very dark area over this eye. Just feel like it's a bit too light, that eye. That's better. Okay. You could go on fiddling forever and a day. That's the trouble with painting. It's sometimes you think, I should have stopped about half an hour ago. But I think it's come together quite nicely. I'll just put a few dark brushy bits coming off that. I feel it needs a little bit of depth on that side, more than that side. A little bit coming down here. That's it. All finished, I think. If you'd like to view any more of my art, please feel free. My website is loustafford.co.uk. I do prints, greetings cards, cushions, mugs. I've written 5 children's books. There's lots and lots of things to look at on my website. Hopefully I'll be doing more of these demos, but for now this is my step into the unknown. So thank you for watching. Bye.